They're back once again in this legislative session. I've told you to expect a tsunami of new taxes, and one of the ones that they are once again pitching, the Democrats and Jay Inslee, is what they call a low-carbon fuel standard. And what this does is it'll cost the people of this state billions of dollars for zero planetary return. Sounds like a good return on investment. Randy Pepple is with the group Affordable Fuel Washington. He joins us here in the Dori Monson Show. Randy, always good to talk with you.
Great to talk with you, Dori. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for telling your listeners about a pretty important topic coming their way.
Well, it is, and this is an issue that has been shot down in previous legislative sessions because the people let it be known in no uncertain terms that they don't want to see a massive gas tax increase, an increase in their natural gas and heating their home. How much are we talking about, Randy? What would the increased costs be for the average family?
Well, in House Bill 1091, the LCFS, the government's own studies, Dori, from the government, indicate that a LCFS could add 57 cents to the cost of gasoline, 61 cents or 63 cents to the cost of diesel. We're talking about magnitudes at that level between now and 2030 as part of this program. And every study that's been done has shown that an LCFS drives up costs. It's the most expensive and the least effective way to reduce emissions.
So you're talking about 57 cents is what this would add. And concurrently, there is another bill in Olympia that would raise the gas tax. The Biden administration is talking. Pete Buttigieg just confirmed a couple of days ago that the Biden administration is considering a federal gas tax hike. I mean, you add all of these things up, it could easily add more than $1 a gallon to the price of gas. And what doesn't baffle me, but what I feel I need to point out all the time is this is coming from a Democratic Party that claims to care about working people and regressive taxes, and who gets hit the hardest when you impose something like this?
The people who can least afford it, Dori, the folks who have to fill up their car to drive to work, the union guy going to a job that's a county away and has to fill up his tank every day. It's the folks in Eastern Washington that have to get goods to market. They are the ones that have to disproportionately pay this tax. And it's unfortunate that the proponents continue to push this when the benefit is so small. There's no funding for transportation infrastructure that comes out of an LCFS. 75% of the money that would be generated goes to businesses out of state. I mean, what state puts the burden of costs on its citizens so that the benefits can go to another state?
Explain how and why does 75% of this flow out of state?
What you have seen in the two states that have done this so far, California and Oregon, is that to generate the fuel for an LCFS, they have to buy fuel stocks that they do not produce. And so they have to buy them from other states, primarily the Midwest, ethanol, corn, or they have to buy it from out of country. And the proponents are saying, oh, we will build those industries here, with little regard for the fact that hasn't happened in California, it hasn't happened in Oregon, the two other states that have an LCFS. I mean, they're promising something that will not happen, Dori.
Well, and I've gone through the numbers. I did this in great detail a few years ago, but I was able to calculate the amount that Washington State contributes to worldwide global emissions. And, you know, what I found out, Randy, is that it's less than 1/100th of 1% of global emissions come out of our state. And so if you look at this, and 1/100th of 1%, and that's if we eliminated all, if we went to zero emissions tomorrow, it'd be 1/100th. So what they're talking about would be more like less than 1/1000th of 1%, which is statistically zero. So it would make no difference on the planet, but it would cost the people of this state billions of dollars. So why? Why is Jay Inslee and the Democratic legislature obsessed with this if it's going to cost the working class people billions of dollars for no return?
That is the question that no one has answered. And because if you're serious about emission reduction, you can't be serious about an LCFS. It's the least effective and costliest mandate that a government can put in place. All I can say is that they have been pushing this since Mr. Inslee was elected in 2012. This is the fourth straight year the legislature has been dealing with it. Perhaps they just have so much invested in it. But the problem is the people of this state have stopped them. The Democrats in the legislature and the state Senate have stopped this bad idea. And that's why I encourage your listeners, go to affordablefuelwashington.com. You can sign up to register your voice, get updates, because this is going to be in the House Appropriations Committee today. It'll be passed out of that committee in all probability. And at sometime soon, it's going to the floor of the House and then over to the state Senate. And that's where your listeners will have an opportunity to weigh in and have their voices heard on it.
Well, and the other aspect of this is, as you said, it's going to hurt the working class people the most. If you're upper middle class, if you're wealthy, you can afford to buy a Prius or an electric hybrid car. The person who cleans houses for a living, the person who has a panel van because they're an electrician or a plumber and they need to get their tools to the job site, they don't have a way around this. And that's where it seems almost contemptuous of working class people to continually pursue. And, like, I'm working from home now, and I will be for the foreseeable future. I'm able to do that. My job allows me to do that. So I'm not spending much on gas. It's not going to affect me much, but it's going to affect my working class listeners, Randy, and that's where I don't see anybody fighting for them in Olympia right now.
And that's why we are proud to have several unions and hundreds of union members, laborers, tradesmen, as part of the Coalition for Affordable Fuel Washington, Dori, because they realize this hurts their members. It hurts economic activity, which costs them jobs, but just driving to the work site, they don't have the opportunity to carry their tools onto the bus, to take a bus to their job site. They have to drive to their job site. Right. And take their tools with them. And that's the people who get hurt by this. That's why they're part of this, our coalition. That's why farmers in Eastern Washington are part of our coalition, because they know you drive up the cost of goods, you drive up the cost of transportation, it makes their product more expensive. And who does that hurt? Again, low-income people.
Well, I'm going to give my listeners a little bit of a homework assignment here. First of all, you can check out affordablefuelwashington.com. This is House Bill 1091. And then also write down this phone number, and we'll post it as well. But it's the legislative hotline, 800-562-6000. And this is the line that is set up to hear from you. And if you and your family, if you can't afford to see gasoline go up $1 a gallon, to see the cost of heating your home, whether you have an oil or gas furnace, you've got to step up on this issue like this. 800-562-6000 is the legislative hotline. It's House Bill 1091. Time for a little citizen activism here.
Well, thanks again for having me on, Dori, and thanks for letting your listeners know about this, because if they go to our website, they can sign in and they can have a communication sent straight to their legislator to weigh in with their voice, because that's what has stopped the LCFS in the years past. And it's that type of involvement, it's that type of activism that will stop it again this year, because the legislators will have to hear why this is such a costly and ineffective mandate, and it should not be passed this year.
Absolutely. All right, Randy Pepple, he's with AffordableFuelWashington.com. Randy, good talking with you as always. Appreciate you coming on with me today.
Thanks for having me on, Dori.
And as always, I'd like to hear what you think. You can text me at 98973. That's 98973. What would this do to your family budget? Are you somebody who can't afford to buy a hybrid or an electric car? I mean, would this blow up your family budget if something like this went through? Let me know. Let your legislators know. And we have lots more to come as the Dori Monson Show rolls on.